Welcome back to you for another very yummy update, my friends. So we are continuing the month of April. We are holding structure. What else is there to cover, friends? We are witnessing everyone become a trade deficit tariff expert. Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of that stuff out here. But when we're looking at the stock market and the wider macro forces out here, everything just seems to be on track. There's nothing else really we can do about it. Even looking at the stock market itself, friends, you don't get a real resolution when it comes to this because the stock market, it doesn't move like crypto. So when you watch crypto a lot, you probably think like, oh, it's going to do the whole, that's crypto, bro. Like crypto's trained us to think things go down all the time. That's not normal. The stock market, friends, its normal trajectory is this slow up stuff. That's the stock market. They built the stock market and how it works and everything to just be like that. So if everything's okay, like maybe there's some volatility, but then it goes, that's stock market. That's like everything's cool because it's kind of funny. God bless it. This is how the stock market works, right? So in stocks, friends, if the stock market, it's up like 3% in like 4 months, they're like, woohoo! That's what the chart looks like, friends. If we had this chart in crypto, we're like, bro, it's not moving. It's not moving. Uh-oh. Come back up. That's funny. It is funny how it works, right? That's how an economy is meant to work, by the way. The business cycle is like 4 to 6 years up, and then like the 6 to 12 months down, and then 4 to 6 years up. Which is it is amazing just how crypto has trained us to think everything's pretty much going to zero at any point. I have the others BTC chart hanging around here, still very low because Ethereum is still cucked beyond imagination. This is the weekly chart. Nothing else we can really do about it. Trump announces the crypto strategic reserve here. Trump launched, Trump launched his meme coin. No, that actually wasn't here. Trump launched his meme coin here. And then it sent us down. That's why a lot of people believe it's game over. I don't think it's game over, friends. I've got more videos and stuff coming out, but I just want to touch on something here briefly with you. Remember, a lot of people ask me, Sommi, is the 4-year cycle dead? Well, the 4-year cycle, referring to the Bitcoin halvening cycle, yeah, it's dead, but it was never alive. Okay, it was never alive to begin with. It wasn't the 4-year halvening that was actually boosting us the whole time. It was conveniently timed 4-year government debt rollover. Right now, we've got $7 trillion to roll over, friends. I'm going to make more content on this, just to tell you, we have some concurrent narratives going on, which are, man, I'm going to have to peg my nipples right now because the amount of interesting things happening, which you never would have expected. There are leaving a lot to be, giving you a lot to think about because we have President Pump, friends. He wants to really fire Jay Powell to cut the rates. He really wants to fire him. He's like, oh, you're not cutting the rates, get out. And some people say, oh no, but you have to be neutral, Mr. Pump. No, but from President Pump's eyes, you held them for like a year and 5 months. It came to the election. They tried to assassinate him, planned assassination, and the US Fed cut rates 3 times in a row. Bang, bang, bang. Right into the election. Literally right into the election. Through the election. US Fed never does that, by the way. They're not meant to do that. They're meant to be impartial, and they usually like don't do anything for the 2 or 3 months leading into it. Yeah, so the fact that they did that, Trump's like that, because what they're trying to do, friends, remember I told you the stats? If the stock market goes up in the 90 days into the election, there's a 90% chance that the incumbent, whoever's in power, gets power again. 90% chance. So I guess Donald Trump was a unicorn, right? Let me say it again. Non-believers will be mocked. Okay, so obviously Trump, he knows what's going on. They're like, hey man, that guy, he cut rates to try to pump up the stock market so he could get you out. You know, so we'll see how that whole transpires. But it would be something interesting in terms of that debt rollover, right? Because the debt rollover, you got to refinance at an interest rate. Yes, the interest rate's high right now, very high, 4.5%. Trump wants it lower. I don't know how low, he wants it just lower. So if Jay Powell doesn't do it, like if he fires Jay Powell, maybe they just cut rates straight away and they do it for him. What if he can't fire Jay Powell? If he doesn't do that, maybe what ends up happening is, just guessing, maybe I'm just throwing something out. This will shift the 4-year cycle, by the way. If the government debt, if he rolls it over for like 3 or 6 months, yeah, till like December, and then maybe the Fed does like 4 cuts into that, and then in the last hour, they roll over, they do a refinance for 4 years. So what they've actually done is they've delayed the money printing. It's longer, it's more poopy, and then the big bonanza appears. And that might mean, friends, we like run until the end of next year. Like that might be one scenario where like he rolls over to December, and then around in December, they do the 12-month, they do the 4-year rollover. So they have to print money to pay off the credit card. And we might have that the bull market actually runs from December 2025 to December 2026 for the altcoins, where we have 2 alt seasons. I'm just giving you an example. It hasn't happened, right? Like you never know. Maybe he just fires J Powell right now and run for a full 12 months. I would like to find that information, friends. If you're able to find this information here for me, please help. I want to know when they did the debt rollover in the past, because they had the government, the zombie virus and stuff, and then we ran up from the zombie virus printing event, friends, from around April. Guess what? We ran exactly 12 months from that point. So we had zombie virus March, and then they're printing in April, and then it literally does 12 months, alt season wave up. So I wonder how that's going to play out, right? Like when are they going to announce it? It might be 12 months from when they do it. Be something interesting to think about. But you don't have to be worried about anything, because it, I know once again, it's really weird, but you got to count the monthly candle colors. The euphoria happens on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 green candles here. There were 5 green ones in DeFi season, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5, at 5, you got to be careful. Hopefully we get the 6th one. I've got a feeling we will, just because we've been down for so long. But 5 green in a row. Do you see 5 green in a row? No, you see 5 red in a row. So like we need like a big fat recovery. We got a while to go, man. We got a while to go. It's kind of like, friends, because we're on a red candle, like we have at least 5 months to go. And that's assuming we just do 5 months in a row and it's all over. 5 green months for others BTC. Now, what am I basing this off? Just the past. And it doesn't have to work out like that. It's just like, I'm always thinking in my mind, I don't even think, friends. I made videos about this, man. It's been 2 years, dude. Like 2023. I made content about this in 2023. I discovered this. I discovered that, you know, when I got like balls deep into the market. Mr. Market, please go easy on me. Now, I just discovered the weak hands, they love buying highs, right? Yeah, but what is a high? What is even fun to them? It's the color of the candle, okay? It's a reflection of that. Now, it's not that they don't look at the candle itself and go, wow, I love green, it's amazing. They don't do that. It's just, it reflects the emotions. So when you have 3 green monthly candles in a row, it really entices people. They're like, yes, the momentum here, the fast money's here, and they all want to jump in. And then you have monthly candle 4, 5, 6. That's actually the explosive. What you call the bull market, friends, is literally, and check this out, what we call the bull market is like 2 green monthly candles in a row at the end of a string of combos for altcoins. That's what you actually call the bull market. That's the parabolic part. Because if you go to 2021, you go, when was the fun part? It was pretty much half of March, all of April, half of May, those 2 months. That's it, 60 days. The 50 daws of euphoria, 50 days of the blow off. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Also, friends, I'm sure you've seen it by now. So pDAI has done a nice zip up today. Huge zip up, friends. The nipples do remain pegged. What happened now? So obviously, friends, if you go to this website, pMKR, M-A-K-E-R, simpler.com. Remember, the joy went down to 0. So we were waiting for the joy. When this joy number used to be 900 million, it went down to 0, the auction phase begins. The auction phase is they can mint Maker tokens now from the protocol. That's how MakerDAO works. And it accepts only one currency. Can you guess what that currency is? It accepts pDAI. 1DOF is the contract address it ends with. 1DOF. Okay. So then that pDAI is taken and it's burned. So why did the market react? Because what's happening is, I guess the auction's happening. The PulseChain pioneers aren't breaking the system. They seem to be playing with the system, as in like progressing the system, helping the system. That's what they're doing. And as well, people are also slowly waking up now, and they're like going, wait a minute, whoa. I thought this thing was inflationary, but pDAI is being burned here. So pDAI is deflationary now. This is not adding up. That's pretty much what's coming on here, okay? As well, friends, a lot of people are wondering, hey, all the PulseChain Maker tokens, MKR, what are they going to do with them? We don't know, but I'm just guessing, because you own all the tokens, you have now governance control. You're the admin key now, pretty much. So you can fix the oracles if you want later on. But you have to get all of them minted. I think like something like 150,000 or 200,000 Maker tokens have to get minted. Okay, so this is the next phase. And yeah, it's pretty cool. You actually see current liquidations, liquidating 7.7 million pDAI and stuff out here worth. Very, very awesome. So it's going to progress over here. There's going to be, you know, some people curious about why this, like, first thing first, fence, I'm not like, okay, look, obviously I'm just excited, always in a very friendly way, if you know what I mean. Once you get back to half a cent, 0.005, then the turbo engines, like, we start turning them on. In terms of your friend Sommi videos, going back and telling everyone, wait a minute, you're telling me the price action has recovered Richard Hart's FUD tweets completely? All of it? All of it? From friends, from that point as well, if you bought when Richard Hart said stop buying pDAI, you're up 700% as well. So that would be the first inkling. That's like out of like 30 traffic light green signals to turn green, that's like one. Like, hey, we recovered one. Okay, and then the next one, by the way, yeah, after that, the next one would be obviously up here. That's the Maria FUD as well. And then 1 cent, obviously everyone's going to change their Twitter avatars to my peg nipples if that happens. Everyone, and I mean everyone. Everyone. No. You don't get to parade a JPEG of my dead head around, capitulated all over the streets with blood and everything and soy. You don't get to do that without some ramifications if you're wrong. Yeah? When it gets to 1 cent, if it gets to 1 cent, when it gets to 1 cent, 31 days. You're going to have my peg nipples. Don't worry. There's going to be a PulseChain logo there, and it's going to say pDAI to $1. And everyone on Twitter's going to be wondering why the hell there are thousands of people with peg nipples as their avatars. Ivan's going to do it. Everyone's going to do it. They're going to start asking questions. And then they're going to start looking into this, and they're going to say, oh my gosh, this is the stupidest narrative I've ever heard of. And then everyone who's fighting it now is going to look at them and go, oh, you sound like me. Light bulb moment. Ha! Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you in the next one.